Okay, welcome to News Updates on Today Ghana News TV. We are live on the satellite via Twitch for our viewers in Eastern European countries and also on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Today Ghana News TV. We are also on anchor.fm/podcast at Today Ghana News TV. Now the headlines. Expenditure on COVID-19 is outrageous. Honorable Kwabena Minta Akando. London site at Dambai to soon get new ferries. Mr. Kweku Ofori Esiama, Minister of Transport. We have these and other stories coming your way. My name is Edna Segbornya. In our first story, Member of Parliament for Dwaboso and Ranking Member of Health Committee, Honorable Kwabena Minta Akando, has challenged the President's State of the Nation address on health, calling it a deception and misleading. Speaking in the debate on the President's Sona address, he said the government has even failed to make monetary allocations to the National Health Insurance, and also the expenditure on COVID-19 is outrageous and called for proper accounts.
When His Excellency was delivering his speech, and the Speaker, with your permission, I would want to quote from page 5, the first line. In all, data from the Ministry of Finance tells us that an amount of 17.7 billion has been spent in containing the pandemic since 2020. Mr. Speaker, this is inaccurate. The records, Mr. Speaker, are available to this House. And again, with your permission, I would want to refer you to the budget statement for 2021. Mr. Speaker, if you go to page 274 of the 2021 budget, the utilization with respect to COVID-19, Mr. Speaker, is 18.19 billion Ghana cedis. This 2021 budget was reporting on the expenditure on 2020 and not 2021, Mr. Speaker. So we spent more than 18 billion on COVID in 2020 alone, Mr. Speaker. How can the President say that we have spent 17.7 on COVID since 2020? Mr. Speaker, that is only 2020.
After 1 year.
That is only 2020. Mr. Speaker, utilization. Mr. Speaker, I will also refer you to the 2020 but 2022 budget. That was also reporting, Mr. Speaker, the 2022 budget was also reporting on 2021. Outcomes. The actual. Mr. Speaker, if you go to page 335, the utilization there is about 2.6. And this is from January to September 2021, excluding October, November, December of 2021, excluding January, February, and March of 2022. We don't know how much we have spent for the past 6 months. Mr. Speaker, if you put this together, unless, of course, the President is mathematically challenged, that can never be 17.7 billion. Mr. Speaker, with all these expenditures, Mr. Speaker, we could not even install simple equipment at the Kotoka International Airport to test antigen test. We couldn't, after spending all these monies. Mr. Speaker, as I speak to you now, there are frontline health workers we are still owing in this country. Frontline health workers we are still owing. And we have spent over 20 billion on COVID. Mr. Speaker, let me move on to another very sensitive issue. And I was surprised that Mr. President didn't touch on it at all. For the past 2 months, the service providers to the National Health Insurance Scheme have been complaining and threatening to withdraw their services. How can the president pretend not to have earned this? Yes, because citizens are complaining that anytime they go to health facilities, they are made to pay money and buy their own drugs, although they will be carrying a national health insurance card. That there's a huge delay, and I thought that it was not true. The Speaker, the National Health Insurance Scheme is the main health financing scheme in this country, and the president didn't touch on that. The Speaker, I now understand why the president didn't touch on it. Only yesterday, as part of the processes leading to the formulation of the 2020 formula, the National Health Insurance Authority appeared before our committee. And the Speaker, listen to what I'm going to say. The Speaker, in the year 2021, the government of Ghana, the finance ministry, the finance minister, collected about 2.056 billion Ghana cedis. The Speaker, listen, the worst is yet to come. Out of the 2 billion, you know how much they have released to the fund? They have released 127 million. Oh, the Speaker, less than 10%. Less than 10%. How would the scheme not?
Okay. Albinism heavily affects the lives of many people, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa. According to reports, Africans are more prone to albinism. In view of this, Mr. Mohamedou Bamba Diop, a strong advocate and activist in the disability sector in West Africa, has initiated the rehabilitation and extension of the Center for Persons with Albinism. The problem of schooling for people living with albinism is worrying, as they are living in a constant state of fear, a situation he intends to fight at all costs. He envisaged to set up a boarding school and other additional rooms which will accommodate children with albinism from Senegal and Africa with the aim to reduce illiteracy among these highly vulnerable people. We are privileged to be joined live by Mr. Mohamedou Bamba Diop, President of the Foundation of Persons Living with Albinism in Africa and the Chairperson of National Association of Albinism in Senegal. Welcome to News Update, sir.
Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Okay, happy to join you and to be able to talk about albinism today.
Okay. So we wish to congratulate you for the good work you have been doing for persons with albinism in Ghana, in Africa.
In Africa.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you
so can
much.
you tell us?
You're right.
Pardon?
Yes. My name is Mohamedou Bamba. I'm a Senegalese person and fighting for the Senegalese person living with albinism in Senegal and for Africa. And, to join All Africa, we put in place a foundation. And this foundation is today building a very big center that can welcome 200 people living with albinism in Senegal. And we still also welcome in all Africa, all people living with albinism who have skin cancer or who need help. We welcome them in Senegal and we bring them in hospital. We take in care of all the medication and all these things. But today, particularly in Senegal, we are fighting, the illiteracy of the albino. In Senegal, 98% of the people living with albinism are illiteracy. They've never been to school. The government doesn't provide study. The government doesn't train the teacher to be ready to welcome people living with disabled, and particularly the people living with albinism. And today, that's why we're fighting to build most big center in Africa for people living with albinism.
Okay, so can you tell us how your foundation came about? Is it because of the president of Senegal isn't paying much attention to you people, or?
The problem in Senegal is the same problem in so many countries in Africa. Because at this moment, after the Convention of the People Living with Disability that signed by so many countries, in so many countries they implement a disability policy. And from 2010 to now, in Senegal, we fight for disability policy. But at this moment, in the high level, the government doesn't implement the law that can complete, the 100% application of this disability policy. And this is a big problem in Senegal because at this moment, people with disability and people with albinism cannot ask their right. For the government, it's not a priority to help people living with albinism. It's not a priority to put them in their program, like the social program. That's why today, when we talk about support from the government, in Senegal, the support for the people living with albinism is $600 for every year. Compare it to other country, some country are putting in place a budget around 150 million US dollar for people living with albinism. But most often in West Africa, albinism are suffering a lot because they are copying the French model. And the way that model is copied is very bad because the disability policy is not in place. So what we find from the government is like the political well-being, and that political well-being doesn't touch people living with albinism, and it's a big problem. That's why today we put our effort together. We put in place a foundation, and we're fighting around the world to find partners, to find NGOs, to find donors that can support the foundation and to be able to put in place a good political for the people living with albinism in Senegal. If you go to Guinea also, we have a big center. And today our vision is to join all West Africa, put in place center, push albinism to join school, pushing albinism to be able, to have a very good training and to be able to have a very great job that will help them, but also to participate in the development of their country. This is, our fighting, and we start from several regions, and in the future, our target will be to join all West Africa together, and taking care of all albino in West Africa.
Okay. So what are the core objectives of your foundation?
The first objective is to help albino to have access to health care. Because, at this moment in West Africa, young boys are dying of skin cancer. In Senegal, every year you can count more than 100 people who die from skin cancer. Why? Because the government know that cancer is very cost and very expensive.
Okay.
And when you get sick and you go to hospital, what they do, they take a picture of your sickness and they give you appointment for 9 months to come back. To know that before the 9 months come, you will die before you come back. This was the rules that in Senegal, medication people was doing. Today, we help them to have access to health care. We have private hospital that we have agreement. We send the albino over there. They get checking, they get treatment, they can do their scanner, they can do their biopsy, they can do their chemotherapy, and the foundation is taking 100% all the costs.
Okay.
And
So
when we leave, yes, go ahead.
continue. Just continue.
Yes. So after that, in a few days, the center will be almost finished. And when you come to the center, you will see that we have a department of education. We have a private clinic that can welcome all sick albino in Africa. We will start to give them care. We will start to give them checking. We will start to be able to take in charge all the costs of the cancer treatment. And after that, we will have also a dermatologic department that also will check the kids from the beginning, because kids need to be checked from the small age until they get young. Every 6 months, the albino must be checking by the dermatology. And also, we are working to put in place a clinic that will take care of the ear of the albino. Because when the albino born, from the first day to the 7 months, he's totally blind. And after that, he start to recover the vision, but not 100%. We can say half of the vision. Most of them, they can see maybe 20%, 25%. So what they need today is to have a very good and special glasses. And we know that today, special glasses are costing very, 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 very big money, because if I compare to my glasses, you can spend more than 750 US dollar. So today we welcome some partner that will come to implement that clinic, to check the vision of the albino, but also to be able to put in place, the glasses that they need to be able to study. That's why if you run around West Africa, you see that 98% of the people living with albinism, when they go to school, they cannot stay because they don't see the blackboard. The environment of the classroom are very bad because most of them are dark. They need light to see the blackboard. So there is so many problems that they were facing. And the third problem is the security problem. We know in Senegal, in election period, people with albinism are killed for sacrifice. When we start to welcome them at the center, they will be in security. We do the same thing in Guinea-Conakry, and our target will be to be in all regions of Africa to make sure that the government implement and vote a special law for taking care, and ensuring the security of the people living with albinism. Like this, when they get the center, they will be in security. With their government, we will work together to put in place that law, but to accompany their project to make sure that albino will get the good condition of life, will get the good condition of study, but also will get the good condition of health care.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the challenges you face in your day-to-day running of the foundation?
Yes, actually, we have a problem, to find a real partner that can, join us in that fighting we are doing today. And we know that actually, because of the COVID-19, so many country budget go down, but still some more NGOs. And today we have a very good opportunity from that lady who represent us in the Union Nation. And I think, she can have a very to take care of the West African organization, to bring partner to them, to challenge, the partner to be able to join albinism fighting in West Africa, but also to see how the Union Nation can also, join our fighting, because today it's a priority for the government to get involved albino in political well-being. But today, so many countries doesn't have a disability policy. So many countries doesn't follow the UN Convention for the people living with disability. So it's a big challenge that we need today this lady to join us, to be in our side, to join us in the fighting that we're doing with our government, to convince them, to to advertise them, to show them that albinism is human being, albinism is part of the population, and they must get the right. And in so many countries in Africa, you can check that and see that albinism right are violated. They don't have access to education, they don't have access to health care, they don't have access to security. When one albino are violated, or when albino are killed, what we waiting for the government to open a case and track the people who do these bad things and arrest them and put them in jail? But they ignore us. They ignore us. They don't respond to our letter. They don't respond, to our question, and they still ignore us. So I think today we need a very strong organization like the Union Nation, to give the power of that lady, because she is today working, but she needs more power from the Union Nation to push to access to the government level, and will advise them about albinism issue. And also what we are also requesting is so many NGOs in Africa, like Site Saver, Handicap International, or Humanity Inclusion. So many NGOs are based in Africa, but they don't want to run program, dedicated to people living with albinism. And today we need those programs, because we need to be together with them and see the way that albinism can be living in well-being. Albinism can go freely to school. Albinism can get health care. Albinism can be
Okay, we've lost him there. Moving forward, the London site at Dampai and its overbanks will soon get new ferries and construction of new London platforms to make travelers on the Oti River feel comfortable. The announcement was made in Parliament today by the Minister of Transport in response to a question by the Honourable Member of Parliament for Cratch East, Honourable Joe Gidisu.
Of ferry landing site along the Yeji and Makango, Dambai and Dambai Overbank and Agodeke. The Dambai and Dambai Overbank site, that is Lot 1, commenced in 2018 and is currently about 68% complete. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the works have been suffered delays due to incessant rainfall that adversely affected the performance of the contractor. Mr. Speaker, it would interest you to know that notwithstanding these challenges, the water lake will soon undergo major facelift as part of the overall development of the cross-lake ferry services. Mr. Speaker, I have said in this House many a time again that a feasibility study has been completed with funding by Korea Exim Bank under the Economic Development Cooperation Framework between the government of Ghana and government of Korea. The project will equip the VLTC with new ferries, equipment and upgrade of existing infrastructures, as well as construction of new ones. About 10 landing stages with reception facilities have been selected for development. And Dambai and its overbank are part of the selected site. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, welcome back, Mr. Bamba.
Sorry, it was a connection problem.
Sure. So let's continue from where we left. Do you have plans to extend the foundation in other African countries?
Yes, we have plans for that. And we start from Guinea-Conakry, because in Guinea-Conakry, albino was using like a beggar on the street, and they were collecting money for some people who just go and rent them from the villages from the border of Sierra Leone to bring them in Conakry and to make money. This was a very big business, and the albino was suffering because when they get sick, nobody brings them in hospital. When they die, they just bury them and go to the village and take another one. So with the help of the Guinean government, we set up a center, and we start, with the support of the Guinean police to go, to the street to take the albino, firstly to bring them in hospital to take care of their kin, and the one who was sick, we take care of them, their sickness, and after that, when they get cured, we bring them to the center. Today, we have more than 200 albino at that center. We pay their food, we pay the teacher, we make sure that they have very good environment that they can stay, live, and stay in security, because we ensure the security. And the most and big organization with whom we working is the SENAC, the National Confederation of People Living with Albinism for Guinea, which is led by Morgan Bangola. Yeah. And we start now to go to explore some country. We go to Mali, we go to Mauritania, In our target, we want to go this year to Gambia and Niger to see, how we can set up center, what is the real need of the people living with albinism, and to see together with the organization and the government how we can together start to help them, to move forward from the albinism issue.
Okay, so how do you fund your foundation? Do you have volunteers donating to you, or you fund it with your personal income?
Okay, first of all, we have some volunteers who just help us from the social network. But also to join and realize my vision, I set up, an company which you call Bamba Business Company. And with that company, all the benefit that I made, 50% from that benefit go directly, to the foundation, and that support us, to be sure that we have 50% of our objective were realized from the Bamba International Business Company. And now from other donors and partners from the social network, we're still fighting to find NGOs in Spain. We're still fighting to find in Europe to see more people that can be involved in the foundation, objective and support us to realize our target in Africa.
Okay, so kindly give us your final word and tell us how any philanthropist or individual can contact you either for help or any other thing.
Yes, we have a website. This is FASA Foundation Arts .org. They can contact us from that. They can contact through my email address, Muhammadu MOUHAMADOU Bamba 1976 @gmail.com. They also can call from the phone plus 221 77612 2744. So this is so many issue that they can contact us, and we will show them the way that they can make donation through the website, through Orange Money or Web Money or through bank account. Yes.
Okay. So thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope to engage you some more on our platform.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so that was Mr. Mohamedou Bamba, President of the Foundation of Persons Living with Albinism in Africa. That will be it for tonight. But before I go, I will read some of your Facebook messages. From Sylvia Annan, great. Thank you, Sylvia. From Patience Darko, watching you live from Hamburg, Germany. Thank you, Patience. From Enoch O. Mensa, thanks for defining the news in Ghana, throwing light on the less privileged. Thank you. From Patience again, wow, you did very well for giving him and persons with albinism the platform. God bless you, Edna, and your team. Thank you. From Kweku Adi, I'm watching you live from Holland, Amsterdam. It's very sad Africans don't respect the rights of albinism. From VIS Ghana, albinism is a problem in Africa, not in Ghana alone. Edna, thank you for bringing him on the show. You are doing well. The albinos need to do more advocacy, and they are right. Okay, thank you. From Positive Change Medina, from the people who bragged all over the places in 2016 about economy fundamentals have just put the country and its economy in a ditch. Nothing is working perfectly except corruption and mismanagement of state resources. This government is a scam. Okay. From Wafasami, watching live from Cape. Thank you, Wafasami. Okay, so that is it for tonight. Make sure that you follow us on all our social media platforms. That is YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch at Today Ghana News TV. My name is Edna.